All right, guys, I'm joined today by UFC bantamweight Randy Costa. Randy, how you doing?
Good, man. I appreciate you having me on. How you doing today?
Absolutely, it's always great to catch up. So, I mean, how's sunny Florida? I'd say that it's probably a lot warmer than Boston, but right now Boston's been about 95 degrees the last 2 weeks, so it probably hasn't.
Yeah, man. Fuck, man. It's so awesome here. I have no complaints. I'll probably have even a stronger opinion of South Florida come December, but right now we're doing all right.
Yeah. And so, speak on American Top Team. We've talked a little bit about it. How is it? I mean, just the disposal of fighters you've got, the minds you've got, the sparring partners you've got, just a lot different than what you're used to, kind of.
I wouldn't say a lot different in terms of like
Not in a disrespectful way to Lauzon's, but in the sense of just there's a lot of people at American Top Team.
Yeah. So as far as like training partners, obviously there are given the circumstances, there are obviously a million more training partners here in Florida right now than there are in Massachusetts. But the big thing I noticed about American Top Team and Lauzon's or any, I guess, smaller gym is that it's down to business right away. Like there's no, it's almost like it's literally just business. It's a job. You're an employer. Like it's just, we're going to go there at this time. We're going to train and that's it. Whereas at the smaller gyms, you can kind of create more like friendships and have like, much closer relationships with people. Neither is better than the other. It's just two different kind of things. And that's probably the biggest thing that I've noticed that's different. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. And so, I mean, one of the training partners you told me about was Ricky Bandejas, who fought at Bellator 242. Any other, big time sparring partners that I saw Tony Gravely, anyone else that you've been kind of in the cage a lot with?
Well, so I've known about my fight for Jerry Newsom for a little bit of time now, and I was doing about 12 weeks come the fight. So, since the beginning of July anyway. And I wasn't sparring with Ricky to get ready with my fight. I was working with Ricky to help him get ready for his fight. Now that I have my own fight lined up, I'm not just working out with anybody at this point. Journey has his powerfuls. He's a very unique, type fighter in regard to his height. Obviously, he's a shorter fighter. You can't spar with guys that are 5'9", 5'10" in preparation for a 5'5" guy. The stuff that works against a 5'9" guy does not work against a 5'5" guy, and vice versa. So, dude, Tony Gravely has been fucking huge this camp. He's been my number one partner. Him and I are getting a ton of work. I don't have enough good things to say about him. He's a super, super cool dude. Obviously, we knew about each other from the local scene. He was the champ at CES. He was never on my radar because I was never in talks of even competing for CES, let alone the belt. And I'm sure I was never on his radar because I had way less fights than him. But we get fantastic work together. I'm working a lot with Mike Brown too because Mike Brown's another shorter guy. He's kind of looking over my whole camp, and man, it's going fantastic. I'm ready, man. It's gonna be a good night.
I'm excited, and how much contact? I'm sure you're talking to Joe daily, but I mean, what's it like? Kind of, he's been your mentor for this long, and now you're in a fight camp without him, where he's a flight away. How different is that? Where you're talking over the phone instead of him being in the cage with you or watching?
Yeah, man. So it's different, but not that different. If I were fighting, someone who's very wrestling heavy or very jiu-jitsu heavy, it would be way different because I would be having to almost have and take guidance under someone else with this stuff. With this fight, I'm not fighting a D1 wrestler and I'm not fighting, a jiu-jitsu world champion. I'm fighting a good wrestler, a good jiu-jitsu player, but mainly a striker, right? So I was never doing like my striking with Joe Lauzon. I was doing my MMA work with Joe Lauzon. But nothing really changed. Joe's still going to be in my corner on fight night. Nothing changes with that stuff. It doesn't matter if I'm fighting on fucking Mars. He's still going to be in my corner. It does not make a difference. But to answer your question, man, it's been a little bit different, but nothing notable. Nothing's that's going to hamper, my training or my mindset, anything in that regard. Just because of the kind of training that Joe and I did, anyway.
Mm-hmm. And so that was going to be my next question is, who will be cornering you? So it will be, the Joe Lauzon and the regulars kind of cornering you in this fight.
So I haven't, man. So there's obviously, it's all public information that there's no location for these UFC cards right now. Obviously, if I'm fighting in Vegas, it's going to be a lot different than fighting in Dubai. So I don't have my corners locked in at the moment. And with this fight being completely circumstantial with where it is, there aren't going to be any fans. Joe Lauzon is going to be my corner 100%. My second listed corner is going to be my girlfriend, just because that's the only way that I'm going to be able to get her, with me during fight week. And I like to have her because she has, she's like an anchor for me. She's, kind of keeps me level-headed. The third corner is to be determined at the moment. I won't really have that answer locked down until I know the location. But I'm kind of, it's either going to be nobody, Gregor Bello, or someone from over here. But honestly, man, it's probably going to be Gregor Bello or nobody. That's probably what it's going to be.
And so how difficult is it to, have your fight be about a month away, and really have no idea where it's going to be? You have two ideas of where it's going to be, but one is, in a different country and one's in Vegas. I mean, how difficult is that? Or is that something you haven't even really let bother you yet?
Dude, it's not bothering me like in the slightest, all because of the given circumstances. If things were different and like, the world was normal and my fight was either going to be here or the Middle East, it would be very different. But if you look at it this way, right, my flight is either going to be in Vegas. So I'm going to fly from Fort Lauderdale to Las Vegas, get quarantined, and then fight. That's option one. Option two is either I'm going to fly from Fort Lauderdale to Vegas, quarantine, and then take a private charter plane to Dubai. So literally, there's no difference. The only real difference is the time change, but they're giving you ample amount of time to adjust. And my opponent is from the United States, so it's an equal playing field. If there were a short notice fight and these two options were going on, it would be like a pretty big fuck up. Because the weight would be an issue. Traveling to Dubai and sitting on a plane and letting your body absorb everything for a 15-hour flight, that's a lot different than going on a 4-hour flight to Las Vegas. And but giving all circumstances, nothing really, it doesn't really fucking matter at all.
And would just part of you hope it's on Fight Island? I mean, it seems just like an opportunity that it may not happen again. Just part of you hope that it's there?
Yes, for the long term. I was telling my girlfriend that yesterday, that when this whole fighting, when I'm done with this whole fighting thing, that there's going to be a time, in 10 years from now, that I will or will not be able to say that I not only fought during a pandemic, I went across to this fucking mythical land, this mythical fucking island that Dana White just fucking thought of so he could find a loophole and put these fights on. And I was one of the competitors that competed on it. That would be really, really cool. But also Vegas would be so cool. I've never fought in Vegas. It's a bucket list thing, but it's a win. The location is a win-win for me, 100%. Dubai would be really, really fucking cool though. But it would really suck being, I wouldn't be able to. I love traveling. I love seeing places and meeting all these people. That wouldn't be an option. Yeah. The surroundings are the exact same, whether they're in Dubai or whether they're in Vegas. You're kind of locked down to like this small area. It's not really Dubai like that you're fighting in.
When I had talked to Rob Font after he had cornered Calvin Kattar, I had asked if he had, he's a big golfer. I'd asked if he had golfed over there, and he was very mad that he did not get the chance to golf over there. So
dude, I'm not a golfer at all. Dude. I don't have a fucking attention span for it. But dude, like you know what I mean? Like you're locked into like this dense area, and they're controlling the people that you interact with. So it's not even really Dubai that you're fighting in. It's more like this. It's UFC land, But that's really all. There's really no difference, in my opinion, of course.
Yeah. So you talked about the shorter fighter, but what have you prepared for most this camp that you believe is going to come on fight night?
The most that, dude, honestly, it's been probably like I didn't want to say like a lifestyle change, but I've been ready to fight. I've been within striking distance. I can make weight this weekend. I can make weight tomorrow. I've been in this situation that I am right now, being so close to weight, fucking insane shape for the last 8 weeks, 9 weeks. I had to, take a whole week and a half off of training in the middle of camp just so I can give my body a time to reset. I've never been in better shape. I've never been as lean and as light as I am right now, while still maintaining fucking incredible shape for my size and my weight. Man, it's just the biggest thing that I think is that in my advantage is not, or the biggest thing that I've been focusing on, I guess, is not an attribute, it's not a skill, it's an overall fitness. My overall fitness is fucking incredible. Everything, man. My training is so much better. My mindset is so much better. My weight is so much better. My everything is so much better. I'm working so much smarter, and way less harder. I'm just being much more wise with my approach with this, man. And I think it's just because making so many fucking stupid mistakes in the past that I learn from. Man, I'm telling you, I've never felt this good leading into a fight. I cannot say it enough.
Awesome. And you know, I was there at UFC Boston covering live. The media was in media row, and you know, it's the first fight of the night. Tanner Bozer's fighting, and behind me, I hear 30 people yelling, "We want Costa." I mean, in Vegas or Abu Dhabi, there's going to be no fans. I'm sure you're not too worried about it, but part of you like angry that, you know, you're not going to have your fan. You got some rowdy fans, and I'm sure that they've always been a part of your, you know, your fight night for you. How different is that going to be?
Man, that's the only thing I know. I don't know. I don't know what it's like to not have anyone screaming my name. You know, even going through the amateurs and the local scene, I've been super grateful to have like the amount of friends and people that support what I do and like watching me fight enough to that every time I walk out, it fucking erupts. Dude, even in Atlanta, you know, Atlanta, my UFC debut on 3 weeks notice, I still had like 50 people out there. Dude, that's fucking insane. And I was able to hear them because I was first fight of the night. Having no fans, it's going to be a little bit different, but I think it's going to play into my advantage, dude, because it's just going to be like a sparring session. And you see me, I'm so new with I don't have much experience with fighting. So I get in there and everything's still a little bit blurry. But if you take the fans out of it, now everything is more like a sparring session. If you've seen me, anyone who's seen me spar, anyone who sees me actually trains know like the creativity that I have and like these very weird and awkward movements. So I think it's really going to play into it. I think people are going to see like like a really unique fighting style out of me now that I'm going to be completely 100% level-headed. There's going to be no influence outside, you know, motivating me or degrading me, anything like that whatsoever. It's just going to be me completely fucking zenned out and ready to like just express through fighting. It's going to be really cool, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, and I mean, I've told you, I've been heading down to Bellator, Mohegan Sun, and covering those. And you know, Michael Chandler post-fight actually said that if he had the choice, he would choose to fight without fans the rest of his career. He said it was literally just like a hard sparring session. He loved it. It felt like he was in the gym, no pressure. So, I mean, that goes along. You know, I've heard that many times, that people saying it just feels like a sparring session to me.
Right, man. And my style is very unique as it is. I have like everyone, you know, comments on the weird move. There's no secret. I move very, very unorthodox. Mm-hmm. So I think if you take the fans out of it, and I'm gonna move as unorthodox as I do in the gym, man, it's gonna be really cool. And I think I'm gonna open a lot of eyes. As the fight goes, I think a lot of people are gonna see like, holy fuck, like this kid has like super creativity with the striking and wrestling and how he changes things together. I'm really excited to see it, man, because I haven't had the chance to like truly show what kind of fighter I am just because of the lack of inexperience I've had and the amount of people I've had at, you know, my fights. Now with this being completely empty, man, it's gonna be me and Journey Newsom getting into a fist fight, and I'm just gonna be able to just flow. It's gonna be really cool, man.
I'm looking forward to watching it. And you know, UFC 252's tomorrow. Big fight in the bantamweight division. Sean O'Malley versus Cheetah Vera. Do you have a prediction for that?
Two big fights in the bantamweight division.
But yeah. Do you have any predictions for tomorrow night? Same with DC Stipe. You know, what are you seeing tomorrow night? What are you looking for?
With the DC Stipe card, man, you want to root for DC given all circumstances or everything that he's dealing with. You want to root for Stipe just because he's the fucking man and what he does for his community. Dude, I think Stipe is gonna have his number. The way, what, dude, the fucking small cage too. It's so there's so many different variables in this fight that you don't have to deal with. I mean, DC does have a chin. He can take punishment. The body shots, though, it's such a toss-up. I'm gonna go with DC. I think DC is gonna know that he's gonna have to rely on his wrestling a little bit heavier than he has in the past, and not make it like an ego fight. Make it as like I want to win this fight. I want to go out on top. So I think DC is gonna get it done. I'm not sure how. I'm not sure when. While I won't be surprised if Stipe knocks DC out, I do think DC is gonna win. With the O'Malley fight, man, that's a super exciting fight. Stylistically, I think it's I think it's a stylistic nightmare for Cheeto. I think it's a very good stylistic fight for OMalley. It will 100% be OMalley's toughest test. Cheeto can fight. But OMalley, I think the in and out movement and the side to side movement, a lot of the weird unorthodox side. You have Cheeto, who's very much like a traditional Thai fighter with his stance and his strikes. Typically, the guys that can move and dance well will be the guys that give Cheeto's style trouble. But Cheeto's clinch game is next level, dude. And you have the small cage again that could impact this fight. I think OMalley's gonna win. I think OMalley's probably gonna knock him out, probably in the second round. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm very, very excited for the fight. It's a very fun fight, very fan friendly fight. And man, I'm a fan of OMalley. I told everyone from the beginning that I want to fight him. I don't give a fuck about him any ill will. I'm a fan of everything that he's done. He's killing it in the game. This is not an easy matchup for him. Cheeto's tough.
And like you said, I was going to ask that. Is that something you'd still look forward to in the future? Is sharing the cage with Sean O'Malley?
Fuck yeah, dude. I mean, why not? He's one of those guys who. I mean, he has a target on his head, on his back. Everyone wants to fight him. I don't want to fight him because he's getting all this attention. I don't want to fight him because I have an opinion. I don't like or dislike him. I don't care about him. I want to fight him because his style, because he has a very fun style to fight, and I think I have a very fun style to watch. And I think that if our two styles clash together, I think a fun fight is the inevitable. You have two very hard-hitting, smaller guys, two hard-hitting 135s, two very unorthodox 135ers who probably aren't going to be wrestling around on the floor. That's a very exciting fight, and I'm sure that's a fight in the future. But man, O'Malley's killing it right now. I'm not where he is right now. I don't have any right to be calling him out or asking for the fight, anything like that. He's doing his thing somewhere along the line. I hope we fight. But all the best to him, man. He's killing it.
Yeah, sign me up for that fight. So I got two more questions for you. One is, Boston sports are back. I think we're both very excited about that. I don't know if with training camp you've been keeping up, but what Boston sports team are you most excited that's back? The Red Sox, Bruins, or Celtics?
Probably the Bees, dude, just because it's going to be a short season for the Bees, right? It's going to be like right into fucking playoffs.
Yep.
Probably. Because you can't beat playoff hockey, dude. That's playoff hockey is right below, the belt. That's pretty fucking cool. You can pretty much guarantee fights every single hockey game. It's pretty fucking cool. I don't think other major sporting leagues are gonna last. I think they're gonna have a very, very short run. MLB is already getting threatened with getting shut down again because they don't have it under control. You see the kid from the Seahawks yesterday?
Yeah.
You're not allowed to have anyone inside the bubble, and this new guy, this rookie, he snuck this girl in, but he had her wearing all the Seahawks gear, so on camera she looked like a player. Kid ended up getting cut. Man, it's only a matter of time. Yeah. These other sports, with individual sports, it's much easier because you can isolate the guys that are competing, right? But when you have fucking 11 or 22 players who need to be on the field, that's 22 per team. And that's just one game with no backups. You have to rely on all these individual variables. If you get sick and we're on the same team and I fucking ate at the same table as you, we're both quarantined. I think another shutdown is the inevitable. I hope not. I'd like to see some playoff hockey though. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it seems that the bubble, like with the UFC, the bubble is working. Do you feel safe? Obviously, you do feel safe. You signed a contract, but it seems that when people do get COVID, that they're being caught before interacting with anyone. Just speak on the UFC's process that has been working the last couple months.
Yeah, dude. The UFC has this shit down to a science. I haven't experienced coronavirus fight week, but I actually just spoke to Joe Lauzon yesterday because he was with Peter Barrett, who fought last week, and he's going to be with Mike Rodriguez next week. And he said, they have this shit down to a science. They have a tent before you can go in the hotel. The tent is where you get tested. You have all these things, man. The UFC is and has done a fantastic job from the beginning. You haven't seen any outbreaks during fight week. You've seen one individual fighter and their coaches who they've been with. You haven't seen, if you and I are fighting, I'm sick. I haven't seen you get sick yet. I haven't seen the ref get sick yet, or the judges, or the media, or anything. I think they're doing a fantastic job, and they're tracing fucking everything. They find the person who has it, boom, done deal. they're off. Now we don't have to worry about that person or anyone that they've had in contact with. I think they're doing a fantastic job, and they have it down to a science.
Completely agree. And so last question for me is, take me to fight night. What happens? What happens in the cage?
Man, I mean, my resume speaks for itself. I've never had a boring fight ever. I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna throw bombs. Man, there's no secret. I'm not going to to fight night to squeak out a decision. I'm going in there to knock him out with the first punch that I throw. That's fucking done. Everyone knows that's what I'm gonna do. I'm sure he knows that's what I'm trying to do. I'm sure he's fucking trying to do it too, because that boy can punch. It's gonna be a fun fight, dude. In firework, this fight can't be on paper. This fight cannot be boring. He just smoked someone in his last fight. I'm coming off a knockout myself. This is gonna be a very fun fight, man. And I'm excited to put on a show.
And I'm sure that the fans that will be at home will be screaming as if they're in the arena while watching it on TV.
I'll probably be able to hear them from wherever I'm going to. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'm wishing you the absolute best. Looking forward to a month from now on Fight Night, man.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much.